Hey guys, it's Erin, and we are back with another mixed media menagerie. As you know, this is a collaboration with Nicole, Laura, and myself. And every month we choose a fun little bit of prompts to get us inspired to create a journal spread. And this is what we are working with this month. So Nicole had the drop off and I have not peeked at all. Look how cute. It's got my name. We're just going to pop it open. And this month is architecture and I cannot wait to see what goodies that she's given us. So this looks like maybe a little bit of drywall tape. Oh, how cool is this black and white striped ribbon, some ledger paper. Oh, we got some more amazing rub-ons. I am so excited about those. A really cool glassine envelope. I don't want to rip it, so let's peel that up a little bit. And what do we have in here? Some awesome kind of like vinyl numbers, a cute little envelope. Oh, Marvel Wonder. I love that one. That's so great. And then some more fun little bits here. That's cool. And then also this month, the Menagerie is sponsored by Sean Petit, and she has given a gracious 20% discount for all of you guys to use in her shop and give us some really cool goodies too. So now let's take a peek at these. Let's pull them out and stencils. Oh, I love a good texture stencil. These are great, like stonework. And then here's some really cool arches, which will play beautifully into the architecture. And then look at this. She even has a collage pack that's labeled for architecture that you could find in her shop. Now let's see what's in this. Oh, this is great. It's almost like a really thick kind of a cardstock. Look at some of these beautiful images. I'm kind of geeking out on the line work. Oh, we've got that golden ratio there. Look at these. Oh, I'm just so excited. I already have the juices flowing, and we are going to jump into this and have tons of fun creating. And I can't wait to see how these beautiful images will play into today's spread. So as we know, we've got the Dina Weekly Media Journal, and I've already pre-gessoed the pages because they take forever to dry. And then, oh, are you kidding me? Like, it was totally dry. Boo. Okay, that's okay. It's just going to give us a little extra texture. So I'm running my hands over here and I'm figuring out what I want to do. This archway, oh my gosh, I was so in love when I saw this. Kind of reminded me of a cathedral, but I just thought I know that I want to play with this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. And I'm not going to use the whole thing. I'm just going to cut it kind of where that break already was. And I'll cut this out and then I will meet you back in a second. Boop, there we go. So I folded it in half because I decided I wanted to put it in the middle of the spread. And before I did that, I was going to use some of those luscious little pages, like ledger pages that Nicole had sent. And I'm using some matte medium, and I love creating with my hands. I know it gets really messy. If you want to use a brush or a little squeegee or a credit card, totally do that. But just something about using my hands just makes me feel a little bit more connected to the piece, and I get really into it. So once that's all dry, we're going to add our first color, and this is like a flesh tone. I'll put everything that I use down in the description box below. So for exact colors and product companies, it'll be all down there. But I'm just going to put this all over the page. And the color for this month was earth tones, and I kind of love this sort of fleshy tone. Kind of reminds me of like sand or dirt. Sounds kind of dirty, haha. But I really thought that would be great for the background. And now spray paint. I have never used spray paint like this before. I was a little nervous, but also a little bit excited to see how it was going to play into the piece. So I crossed my fingers. Boom. Oh my gosh. That was a dream. And there really wasn't a whole heck of a lot of overspray, which I have to say I was surprised about. So that is super lovely, and I may have to get multiple colors of this. But I flipped the stencil over, and now I'm just adding a bit more of whatever was left on the stencil into the page. And you know that my little grungy heart is already super excited about how this background is looking. So I've got my archway here, and it's a little bit lost. We need to add a little bit of extra something to bring the page together. And then I remembered those really cool kind of swooshy wing sort of things. So I cut it out, and I only had one of them. So I wanted to have like the opposite on the other side so it was even. So what I did was I traced over the back side using a light table. And now I'm going to grab some of my graphite transfer paper, and I'm just going to kind of figure out where I want to have that. I'm going to lay it down, and then I'm going to trace over the little feathery pattern, and then I'm going to flip the pattern over and do it on the opposite side as well. The next prompt for this month was a fountain pen, and this is my Muji. It's a workhorse, and I'm going to use a permanent ink. So you can use like the Noodler's ink here, or also the Carbon Black ink from Platinum. These are two great ones, and again, I'll put those down in the description box below. And so I'm just going to trace over the lines with my fountain pen. I don't know if you know this about me, but I have a super addiction to fountain pens and fountain pen inks. And in the month of September, I'm going to be starting a new series that is all about fountain pens and inks, and we're going to do a little bit of drawing with them as well. So if that's something you might be interested in, stay tuned for that. So here I'm just going to go ahead and trace over all of it, and then because I want to keep that archway white, I want to bring some more white onto the page, and I'm going to go over top of these, like in the middle areas, with some white gesso, and I think I do probably about 4 layers to really kind of brighten it up, but that's what I'm going to do next. And then we'll, instead of making you watch it, boom, there we go. So now we have this great big focal point, this gorgeous archway, and these huge kind of like wings, like it's ready to fly away. And our third prompt was a ruler. So I have this, what are these called? Like a protractor, or I don't know, but it's a half circle ruler is what I'm going to call it. And I'm using my Muji again, and I'm just going to trace around it. And I'm marking where the tops of these archways are and the sides, because I'm going to add some paint to these areas, and I don't want to paint the whole area in waste paint, so I'm just marking off which areas that I want to be painted. And we're going to bring in these beautiful shades of gray colors. There's a brown gray, and then I think I use a reddish color as well. And I thought this would complement that kind of orangey color, and still working with our beautiful earth tone shades. And this is almost kind of giving it like this sunset sort of feel, this kind of cool grungy vibe that I'm going for. So I'm really liking how it's coming together thus far. So while I was drawing this, out of the corner of my eye, I saw that little envelope, and I really wanted to add that onto the page, kind of like a hidden sentiment. So I was going to match up the lines, and oh, this took me a little bit, kind of broke my brain, but that's okay, we got it figured out. And I'm going to match up the lines and bring back that spray paint and spray the envelope, so then it just poosh, magically kind of disappears into the background. You know, if you followed me, that I love these kind of hidden elements to the pages. I don't know, I just love interactive pages. So now that craft paper blends really well into that kind of orangish background that we already have going on. So we really don't have to do a lot with that. So now we've got that hidden off to the side, and I'm thinking, what else do I want to do? I really was like, I don't like on that side there, the black came up a little bit too high. So here I'm just trying to move it around and cover it with a little bit more of that orange color. But what I found is, if the paint isn't fully dry yet, just taking a little bit, like the spray paint, just taking a little bit of that water and mushing it around, I could actually pull it back up. So that was a beautiful, beautiful find, but also it took up too much, but that's okay. So I'm just kind of blending and taking a little bit more so it kind of matches the area, and it kind of mutes it, like it's going back into that one side almost looks like a little hill, you know, if you're getting really imaginative. So it's like the background is flowing away from you. So I really liked that. So now I have a white gel pen, and I just wanted to get kind of doodly. So I'm just drawing a little bit of some half circles here. It's a Zentangle pattern. I believe it's called Crescent Moon. And then you'll aura some lines around it. But I'm just taking a bit more of that white gesso to brighten up these circles. And I thought it would be fun to just get a little doodly and kind of zen into the spread here today. Truth be told, I have not been doing very much art. Without getting into too much detail and then bursting into tears, a little bit of family tragedy happened, and I'm dealing with a lot of grief. And I've found that Zentangling, just getting lost in the lines, has been really beneficial for me. So I just, as hard as it was to get in and do this journal page for you guys, I didn't want to let you down. And so we're doing it, and I'm just taking the time to enjoy getting lost in the lines, being a little bit of meditative, slowing down, being, conscious of where I'm making my marks and why I'm making them, instead of just being a little bit willy-nilly with stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that envelope down. I'm just going to use a little bit of double-sided tape. I always call this the Suk Wang double-sided tape. It's like score tape. You can get it on Amazon. And then I'm adding a little bit of the Eileen's tacky glue to the sides where the tape wasn't at. This will give me a little bit of wiggle room, but also then it'll really make sure that the piece is glued down to the page and it doesn't lift up. So now we're going to go ahead, and I'm just measuring out, and I saw those letters that she had, the rub-on letters off to the side, and there was the markings there, the little kind of circles in the middle. And so I decided to write the word soul, and I'm just taking the letters and I'm rubbing them on and just kind of lining them up so they all are about the same distance from the center of that diamond, or, sideways, square, whatever you want to call it, and just sticking them down. The L was a little bit harder to see because it had a lot more writing and stuff there, but I know it's there, and that's okay. And it looked, honestly, at the end like it was part of the design to begin with because of, the styling of the letters. So that was really cool. So I'm just going to take a little bit more double-sided tape, and here we're going to go ahead and glue down our archway. And again, I'm going to use the Aleene's. I'm not going to put any sticky tape in the middle where the page bends because it'll be too thick. So I just left that area opened, and I'm using my finger to move it around. And then, of course, the camera shut off. So I went ahead and it's all glued down. And now I'm going to take my fountain pen and just draw some rays of more line work coming out of the center of those little crescent moons there, and I just thought that'd be kind of fun. Just, more line work. Again, I'm just getting lost in the lines. I probably could have doodled on this page forever. Maybe one day I'll just do an entire journal page spread where I doodle. So let me know if that's something you might be interested in. Leave me a comment down in the description box below. And yeah, so that's all I'm doing here. And I really kind of like how that pulls it out. It's a very basic spread, but I think that's what I needed this time. And now, because we have that black, the little brickwork down there, or the stonework, I thought it would be fun to just add these numbers, and they fade into the background, but if, like in a picture, it's hard to tell that they're there, but I know that they're there, and it gives a little bit more dimension and a little bit more fun elements to the spread without taking away from the main focal point, which is that archway kind of taking flight. And then I saw more of the rub-ons, and you can see a little bit of the ledger paper peeking through, but I thought it would be fun to do some more of the words and just kind kind of rub them on around the page just to bring a little bit extra interest as well. We interrupt this journal spread progress with a quick little reminder to play along with us over on Instagram using the hashtag #MixedMediaMenagerie, and that will automatically enter you into winning the next month's ephemera pack. So super easy. You're already going to create. Use that hashtag and you could win. So play along with us. And now back to the journal spread. And lastly, we have that cool little card that said Marvel and Wonder. And I loved that sentiment. I just sometimes, you know, the right words come to you at the right time. And so I was just going to take some of that pretty twine there and put it in to the little pocket. And I thought, well, it's kind of bored just sticking out with that white. So I'm grabbing my fountain pen again, and I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit more of that crescent moon line work on the top of it. So we have some more lines, kind of like architectural arches, if you want to call it, peeking out. So that's what I'm doing here, and that is gonna finish up our page today. Be sure that you check out both Laura and Nicole's channels to see how they used the prompts this month, and also make sure that you check out Sean Petit's shop. It's full of amazing goodies, and she herself is an amazing artist as well. So there we have it. We'll just kind of plop that around. I'll lift it up here so you can kind of see. So you can see how some of that, the background is peeking through that kind of reddish tones in the archway. It just really feels like the soul is taking flight. And, you know, it was cathartic for me to paint this today and to be with you all. I've missed you guys. So next time you're creating, create from the soul. Be sure to spread lots of love to everyone. And until we meet again, happy creating.